Hello. Uh, Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Um, Not good night yet, because if there's a good night, then usually night means time of rest, go to sleep. But I don't want people to go to sleep. We already are asleep, sort of. So, good morning. Welcome to Chili Chill and Friends. My name is Chili Chill, and I'm the producer of the show. The things you will hear over the next 2.5 hours represent the views of Chile Chile and friends and the people making them. All opinions and quotations in no way represent River West Radio and are the sole responsibility of the producer, guests, and callers. River West Radio is not liable for any legal issues arising from the content of this program. Um, as I've mentioned in the past minute, I didn't really mention it, but I am Chili Chill. There's a reason why I am chilly, and that's because, other than that's who I am, I like the movie Get Shorty, and the main the main personage of the movie is uh, is Chili Palmer, and Chili he's like a gangstified person who was a gangster, I think. And then he decides to go into Hollywood and make movies. So in the film, he's trying to make a movie with this short fella who's famous, and that's played by Danny DeVito. That's the name of the movie, Get Shorty. But Chili Palmer was a very charming guy, and I myself, I'm not as charming. So Chili is a name that I named myself in order to maybe be more charming. I know Prince Charming does for sure. No, sir. No, ma'am. But the whole thing about charm has to do with rapport. It's an interesting word that's not used often. We don't really hear people talk about rapport on the radio or on TV, in the movies, or in school. I came up upon the word reading some psychological texts and did a little research on this rapport thing. Basically, it is how connected you are with other people. It deals a lot with empathy and openness. Because if you are close to another person, you can't hear another person. And you know when other people you're talking to do not hear you. You know when you talk to them and you lose their interest. You know when you talk to people and it feels like you're talking to a wall because they just, whatever it is you're saying, just doesn't go through. Sometimes people are blinded towards what you say. Sometimes they just don't have ability to hear you. Sometimes their mind just loses them. Hey, hello, friends. This is River West Radio. Right now, there's a live broadcast going on. If you want to, you can join me here and be my guest. Let me turn on your microphone.
Testing, testing.
Uh, yeah, you don't need to be. You don't need to have. You don't need to talk in the microphone.
Don't tweet it.
But as long as the microphone
Okay.
is around you, I think this is good enough.
All right. So how many listeners we got?
Right now,
Yeah.
uh, I don't have a thing that tells me.
Wow. we
But
gotta change
usually,
that.
all the broadcasts they get recorded,
Okay.
and I get about 100 listeners
That's what's
for
up.
each broadcast.
Okay.
And
I went to
this-
school here, out here. I'm just visiting though.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is your name?
Sanika. Sanika Gray.
Sneaker Gray.
Yeah.
That's an interesting name.
Thanks, man.
Are you named because is there a special reason why you're named the way? Is
I
there
don't think
some
so. My
story
parents,
behind the name.
my parents are from Jamaica, so
Ah.
I think they were just creative with what they wanted to do with names.
Yeah, there's a lot of creation in naming kids.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of different variations, and
Hey.
the world is big.
Yeah.
There's lots of different languages.
Sure. What's your name?
Well, I got many names.
Many names?
But usually I'm known as Chili.
Chili.
Yeah, I named myself Chili.
Okay. Cool. Well, what were you talking about before?
Well, my show is about art and life.
Art and life. Well, I happen to be in the arts.
Are you?
Yeah, I was a theater major in Wisconsin, but I live in New York City now, and I do a lot of acting and television work.
So you film in different sitcoms, something like that?
That's the goal. But
That's the
right
goal.
now, you can catch me on commercial work, some slight
Okay.
stuff on TV, and I just got done working on Men in Black 3 last summer,
Oh, nice.
which was a good opportunity for me.
Like a small role.
I was
Extra.
Will Smith's stand-in stunt double throughout. the-
Really?
yeah.
That's pretty big role.
Yeah, man, it was good.
Yeah, congratulations.
Got a great opportunity to network with the production and the cast, and it was just a great experience. A lot of people don't get to have those experiences so early, and I just got lucky. So it was a good experience.
How old are you, sir?
Wow, you're asking for my government?
No,
I'm
no,
27
you don't
years
have-
old. No,
27.
27.
Yeah. Well, I'm.
I got a
34.
I got a YouTube page too, so that if people want to keep up with me, and basically, I have a little page that lets you know where I'm at or when I'm on set, just to give viewers kind of like an inside look of what's going on
Right.
around my in my profession, or people who follow me or support me.
Yeah, you're quite well spoken.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, theater, I guess, teaches you that.
Yeah, man. I had some good parents, and my dad is
Parents
actually.
too.
Yeah, my dad he teaches at the one of the UW schools system.
Oh, okay.
You familiar with Eau Claire, Wisconsin?
No, I've never been there. I know there's a university.
Northern, yeah, north Wisconsin. Not Green Bay, but a little bit lower.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, this is what's up. Do you do this? What is this? Every Sunday or
No,
Monday?
no, this is every day from 3 o'clock until 11.
Okay.
And my show is one of the many shows. My show is about nothing. I talk about whatever I want to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
and my mind just wanders on.
All right. So before I get out of here, let me give the.
Don't leave yet. Let's bring your friend over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. We were in the middle.
Are you
of-
guys in a rush? Are you guys rushing someplace together?
Nah, we ain't in a rush.
No, let's move the mics around a little bit. Yeah.
Is this saved on the internet?
Yeah,
afterwards?
everything gets saved on the internet. If you go on riverwestradio.com, you can see the live transmission plus all the other shows starting maybe. Oh, this.
Should I just hold it?
If you want to,
Yeah, I can hold it.
but you can move this around. It just takes a little bit of engineering,
I see, I see.
guess. Yeah.
All right, so we on River West Radio. It's got Sanika Gray and my man Chili.
Young Tank for show.
Young thing.
Yeah.
You live around here?
Yeah, I'm a East Sider, if you will. Been a
Yeah.
member of this store about a year or 2 years, so.
Yeah, this is a wonderful
Yeah,
story.
for those of you guys who don't know, this is like smack dab right in a old school vintage video rental spot. So you walk in, you think you're gonna go get video rentals, and then you look to your right, and there's like a live studio and an interaction center. We got the web video, we got the audio. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, this is actually the beginning of a real live radio.
Okay.
In maybe half a year or so,
6 months.
yeah, maybe even less. We're gonna have a live FM broadcast going out in the neighborhood.
Okay, that'll be
Yeah,
good. You know, something for the people.
there is. Usually, type of thing like this is illegal everywhere, and it was really hard to get to transmit FM waves
Hmm.
because people can talk about anything,
Yeah, it's a free
and if they
country.
talk about something anti-government or
Well, you
you know
might
you
not
can't
want to do that.
you can't if you criticize the government, is that considered to be anti?
There's nothing wrong with
With the new
questioning
Patriot Act.
authority, but
Yeah.
you want to be respectful in the same sense.
No.
But yeah, we don't want to be. We shouldn't be out here like zombies, just eating whatever they feed us. Don't get me wrong. I
Oh.
love this country. That's where I make my money. But you definitely have to be. What's the word they want? You have to be present,
You gotta be aware.
aware. Yes, abreast,
Yeah.
present.
Awoke. Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes
Conscious.
conscious, yes, conscious. That's a good word.
So you drink, man? You
No, actually, I stopped drinking some time ago. Nowadays,
Now
I
it's
drink
coffee?
I drink tea. Actually, I used to drink a lot of coffee,
Okay.
but I
That's
stopped
not
that
good
too.
for you, they say. You know.
Yeah, that's why I slowed down coffee. I started drinking herbal teas. Like
Okay.
this one is fire roots.
That coffee is, can be highly addictive too. What
Yes,
about
it
smoke? You
is.
smoke too?
Smoke cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
Yeah, you smoke cigarettes?
I quit smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
And then I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit drinking. I quit drinking coffee. But when it comes to marijuana,
Yeah.
I quit it.
You quit it,
Then
but
I started.
then you
And
started.
I quit it again. I
It's
started
okay.
again.
It's okay. I think,
What do
know,
you think about that?
I'm not opposed to it.
It's
Nothing in excess
It is
too-
addictive,
is
though.
good, but
Yeah.
I am an advocate for medical marijuana, and it's got more than one use.
most definitely. If it was used to its most potential, the paper would be made out of it, and it would be much better than paper. We got the cloth would be made out of it. Fuel would be made out of it. It's cheap to grow.
It's big business too. I mean, you go to some of these other places on the other coasts, and real big business, legal. It's not, the gray area that people often bring. They call this a gateway. You know what they call it? Marijuana a gateway drug?
Gateway.
Yeah.
Gateway to other harder drugs.
But it opens the gate for other drug use.
Well, what about no? For me, it was cigarettes. Actually, no. Alcohol was the first. I
you live
first
in
started
Wisconsin,
drinking.
man.
Yeah, when I was in 16, I wasn't drinking that in 16. You want a beer? Oh yeah, let's have a beer or something. Let's
You
have some
weren't born-
vodka.
You were born in the States?
Uh-uh.
Good.
I was born overseas.
Where? Eastern Europe?
Block.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
yeah,
You
yeah.
hear that? I know my
Yeah,
shit.
but hey, you know how many countries in that Eastern Bloc?
Yeah, man. But I mean,
Like Mongolia is in that Eastern Bloc too. Believe me, Mongolia was a
So
part
tell-
of USSR.
So what is it?
where I'm from.
What's the location?
Right now it's Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Alright, I've never been there.
It's really wonderful, but if you're gonna go someplace, go to Russia. Go
Yeah,
to
how-
Go to St.
They
Petersburg.
dig black dudes out in Russia?
They love black dudes.
Really?
Everywhere.
Everywhere?
Yeah,
We're
I
universally
mean-
accepted. Now we're universally
Yes,
accepted.
most
Before, we
definitely.
couldn't even go.
If a lot of people actually they go to Europe to go or Eastern Europe
Eastern
to go to your university because an education that would cost up here maybe $40,000 will cost up there $5,000.
Okay, so they're getting budget cuts.
Yeah, like medical and first you go study medicine up there. It's all in English. Everything, boom, boom, boom. You spend 4 or 6 years up there. You come here, you take your tests, you pass them with flying cars if you're good,
Okay.
and then you get yourself a medical. You don't need to go to spend all this money up here for medical school.
Well, there you go, man. You just dropped a gem on them. Let them know.
Yeah, well,
Go to Eastern
I'm
Europe.
not
if
into
you
school.
wanna go get
My
your
school is
medical
this.
business. Huh?
yeah, this is my school.
Your school?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
books?
going through school sitting here. Have you heard of this book before?
The Bhagavad Gita? Is that how you pronounce it?
Bhagavad Gita.
Gita, okay.
Yeah.
Translated and with an introduction and an afterword by Barbara Stoller Miller.
It's one of the oldest books written, actually.
It's the essential text of Hindu culture.
It is.
Okay.
It's the essence of yoga. It has to do mostly with mind.
You guys could see this, see what I'm looking at. This looks very intricate.
I've been reading this for many months. It's taking me a long time.
So I'm looking at your web screen, and it's you got it pointing at the floor, man. So
Do I?
If
Oh,
people were
You want to see
watching,
yourself?
I don't want to see myself. This is strictly.
Let's put it
This
in
is coming
you.
from a consumer. What's up, y'all? This is
Yeah.
coming from a consumer point of view.
Right now, this is not a TV studio yet. Let's talk about it. Maybe in a year, it will be a TV studio where we'll have cameras.
So when you get big, you can say you had Sanika on here.
Yes, and you're gonna be a superstar. You're gonna be Man in Black 5.
I just want to live comfortably, man. Keep you know, keep my name out of anything negative,
Sometimes negativity is what brings publicity.
right? If they're not talking about you, then you're not doing something right. Shouts to my haters. But yeah, man, I'm out here on a little bit of I came out here for work, but I also got to see my good friends who live in the Midwest.
That's nice. So you're from here and you go back to
I'm from
New
New York,
York,
but I
but
went to school here.
oh, okay.
Uh-huh. I spent 6 years in Milwaukee.
Oh, right on. You
Four-
like you like
four.
you must like it if you come back.
Yeah, you know, you can't forget, you know, I went to school here, so I got a lot of mutual friends and mentors and stuff like that.
Milwaukee is a hidden gem. That's what I see. I've been living here for 23 years,
Shit.
and every month or so, I find something new about it. I go find a new spot that got something
You got a
interesting.
girlfriend? You got a girl?
Me?
Boyfriend?
No boyfriends here, but girls, you know. I don't have a wifey type.
That's okay.
I feel that if
Somebody works for me.
if like a woman comes along
Mhm.
that I fall in love with and have a family with and have kids and stuff like that, then it will happen. But
Like
I'm not
anything.
gonna look out for it, you know. I'm gonna seek and search. I just live my life, and every day, people come and you know thoughts come and thoughts leave, and feelings come and feelings leave. You know.
Cool. Just making conversation, man.
Yeah. What about
Maybe
yourself?
some of your viewers want to know if is he single? Is Chili single?
If there's a beautiful and smart,
Here we
and,
go.
and nice, see, I don't want no mean, because when girls say mean, in my eyes they're ugly, and you know like don't matter how beautiful you are, you're still ugly.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I don't like no ugly women. 'Cause I
Wow,
God
everyone
don't like
needs
no
Going
ugly.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
everyone-
cleanliness is next to godliness too.
At some
You
point,
know.
the face, gets overweighed by the nice physique. As you get older, run out of options, huh?
I've been with skinny girls and thick girls.
I just mean the actual parts of the woman that are usable. Not
Usable?
Yeah.
These guys, man.
Like what?
Vagine, the top rack.
Yeah, on radio, man.
You
We can't-
no,
It's live.
this is like Howard Stern. If I could, I'd have strippers up here.
Oh wow.
living.
All right, so
Yeah.
we don't need to watch we can speak
Yeah,
free-
well, you can speak. I mean, try not to curse
too much, right?
too much.
I
Yeah,
have it, I mean,
yeah. It's
yeah.
like, but be natural, you know.
Okay. So what's the
And-
music scene like out here in Milwaukee right now? I know you guys got the
Which
world
one?
festivals and all that going on.
We've got jazz, blues, rock, heavy metal, hip hop, rap, gangsta rap, freestyle, poesy,
Okay.
you know, poetical jams,
I think
whatever you want. If you wanna check out something artistic, I can tell you where to go on one.
Okay.
I know the scene more or less good.
Well, great, man.
Good parties.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Should definitely talk about that. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go back and get these DVDs. I'll at least let the viewers know what I picked up.
What did you pick up?
That's
I
enough.
picked up Seven,
Yeah, I've seen that.
which
This
is a
good
classic. If y'all don't know, this is Morgan Freeman. This is Brad Pitt. This is Gwyneth Paltrow.
Movie. Have you seen it?
And how can we forget Kevin Spacey? Yes, I've seen it. It's
Ah.
got one of the best endings ever. Check it out. They don't really make good horror movies anymore. The next choice I got was Hobo with a Shotgun.
Hobo versus Shotgun.
Yeah.
Is that comedy?
It
will
looks
be funny.
it looks like satire, like some
Satire.
shit that Quentin Tarantino would put together.
Ah.
Rated R should have like a lot of mindless violence. And then the third one I got was Jonestown, which is a PBS home video, home documentary. Those of you who don't know who Jim Jones are, you know who Jim Jones is.
I
Right?
think
Not the
I've-
rapper.
Is that where they the bunch
Jonestown?
of pedophiles?
No. This is about the guy who had a small utopia. I don't know if it was in Nicaragua, but he had a bunch of people who were willing move out there and basically put their life on hold to live in this little community of his. And
Oh, that's nice.
it's good, yeah. You
So
know,
are they still happy living in utopia?
they killed themselves.
Oh, they were not that happy. They were so happy. They were miserable.
They drank the vat. But
Oh, boy.
I'll let y'all, I'll let that figure that out on your own time. But it's good. So 3 DVDs. Again, it was cool to come through and check out Chili. My name is Sanika Gray. You can check me out on YouTube if you Google my name, which is SANYIKAGRAY. I also have a actual channel called Mr. Gray TV, no spaces, MRGRAY TV. Other than that, yeah, you can keep up with me on Facebook and Twitter. Just Google my name. Tank, you got anything to say?
I know. I just like to give a last shout out to my nice peeps over here at River West Video. I always keep the new supply in. Order anything that you need or what you want, they got you. So I sign out with that.
Thank
man,
you,
thanks a lot.
gentlemen. Yeah. Hey.
Oh, you gotta let me know where I can, where this
Yeah,
is gonna be.
Cynic. Write down your email, and I'll email you.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm into movie making things, so if you wanna give it a short movie or something, next time you come over, we can make a movie
let me give
or
you
something. Yeah. We mingle with the good people we meet, good friends we've had, good friends we've lost along the way. Bob, come here. Say a few words over, man. My show, I just sit here talking to friends.
Bringing people in, huh?
Yeah. Have a seat.
All right, just for a second, dude. I'm
Yes, thank you for coming by.
rocking a schedule here, man.
The one and only Bob,
I'm
aka Bob.
thanks, Chili.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just here to make flyers. They have
Flyers?
Yeah, they have 7-cent copies here. It's quite the deal.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
I had no idea.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah, rockin'.
But yeah, we're playing a show on September 11th. It's a Tuesday night at the Uptowner with the Dim Peepers, which is this dude Aaron Hootenberg. He used to live here and he used to do a lot of stuff, a lot of shows, set up a lot of things. But anyway, so he's on tour back through, and then our band Naran Chef's gonna play. So
What I never seen your band.
my band, it's all instrumental. It's like we've got a bowron, which is what I play. It's the Irish drum. Then there's
Oh.
a saz, which is like a Turkish guitar,
Huh.
and then a violin player and a saw player. So
That's gonna be some
yeah,
interesting
it's all
mix of music.
instrumental.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's kinda-
September 11th.
Yeah, September 11th. It's Tuesday night, 10 o'clock at the Uptowner. Anyway, I'm gonna go make these flyers though, dude.
All right, rockin'.
It's nice to see you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
In this great future, you cannot forget your past. So, onward, on with the book Bhagavad Gita, which makes the mind move on into different realities. It opens up a whole new dimension which leads us towards the essence of who we are, and not just who we are individually, but all of us, everything. The essence of reality, the physical world. And we've read so far 7 chapters. And this is a teaching, the 8th teaching, called the Infinite Spirit. Let me give a background real short about what happened in the 7 chapters. There's a war going on, and two friends are standing in the middle of the battlefield talking. One is a king whose land is being attacked by his cousin. Other one is Krishna. I just leave it as that. Krishna is unique. He's Krishna. And the king, the prince, actually, he is scared to go. Well, he's not scared to go to war. He just doesn't want to kill a lot of kinfolk. He doesn't want his friends to die. He doesn't want the enemy's children to go hungry. He's a good guy. What reason is there in war? Well, there is a reason because his friend Krishna, he tells him, you know what, homeboy, my friend, even though war is a horrible thing, you, as a prince, have to serve your people. You have to do your duty. You have to go and fight. And worry not about the lives that war takes, because this body is but a shell for the spirit, which always moves on and never stops, and this has been from the beginning of existence. This is not the beginning, because beginning is beginningless. And the future is what we make right now. So the Krishna, he tells his friend that if you really want to know the real deal about life and death and who we are, you must turn your attention within and meditate on suchness, on your experience, and inside of it you will see the common experience, and inside the common experience you will find Krishna, because Krishna is, in his own words, the stars and the birds and the feelings, everything there is, that's all Krishna. And everything that is not, that is also Krishna. Krishna is like what some people refer to as God, but not like a God Zeus, a God Venus, a goddess Venus, a goddess Aphrodite, a god Poseidon. Well, there's Greek gods, and there's different Egyptian gods too. Osiris, and there's Christian God, who is a Jewish God. Well, when it comes to Christian God, Christians are they're an odd folk, I find them, because they say that Jesus is a son and God the Father is the Father, and then they have the solid Spirit. But talking to people, I could never really understand them, especially when it comes down to the Holy Spirit, because in the Bible it says that Jesus gave his disciples Holy Spirit, and people use the Holy Spirit. And when I ask people what is this Holy Spirit is, it says it's the thing that Jesus gave us. Okay, well, you're a Christian, he gave you the Holy Spirit, right? You should know what it is, because I'm not a Christian, I don't know what it is. But that's religion. In reality, Yeshua, he was a man of God, and he taught the transcendental wisdom. And transcendental meaning it transcends cultures, it transcends time, ages, it's transcendental. But people, they take this essential, vital truths and they change them and warp them and they make religion out of them. And religions, what they do, they separate. They separate people. They say, I am a Christian. I know better. You Jews, you didn't accept Jesus as your Messiah. You go to hell. I go to heaven. And then there's a Muslim who says, but you know what? These poor, stupid, ugly people, they don't recognize Muhammad. I know Muhammad is right. And Muhammad said that he is right. So all those people are wrong. And then um, Christians go around killing their own selves because they disagree on how to interpret a book. And then there's Muslims going around killing their own selves because they disagree on how to interpret the book. Then there's Jews. Well, Jews are pretty peaceful. They don't go around killing their own selves. They argue a lot. They like to argue and bicker. And I don't want to comment on what's going on in Palestine because if I comment on it, I'll put a blame and I'll have to blame the whole entire world. All the countries. Everybody that talks about everybody that talks about what's going on in Palestine contributes to the problem, not the solution. The problem is that there's people fighting each other and they both suffering and they want both something that's impossible to get, so they fight over nothing. Well, some people say nothing, some people say, oh, it's something. I say, the reason why America is in war right now is to be in war. There's absolutely no reason for us to wage war, but what good comes out of war to America? Well, we spend a lot of money on guns and killing people, and making people really despise America. I'm against war. I think war doesn't help solve anything. But in the case of Arjuna, he has to fight. If he doesn't fight, then there's going to be a lot of suffering. And even though in this whole war there is suffering as well, if he loses, many more people will suffer. So sometimes Krishna says you have to stand up, and you don't have to be an aggressor, but to protect the innocent, to protect a good way of life, to protect humanity. Sometimes it is necessary to stand up to the forces of negativity and fight. The eighth teaching, the infinite spirit. Arjuna, what is the infinite spirit, Krishna? What is its inner self, its action? What is its inner being called? What is its inner divinity? Here Arjuna is talking to his friend Krishna, who's a personification of the whole entire universe and what's beyond the universe. He's a emanation of he- of um, of of God, of non-duality. So here Arjuna is asking him, what is this? What is this awareness, soul? What is this soul that you speak of? You say that it's without beginning, without an end. You think it's always there. You say that our bodies die, but our spirit moves on. What is this spirit that moves on? What is this inner self? How does it work? What is there a name for this? What is the holy part of it? What is the divinity in it that animates it? What makes it do things? Who is within sacrifice, Krishna? How is he here in the body? And how are men of self-control to know you at the time of death? That's a little obscure, I'll say. I'll read it again. Who is within sacrifice, Krishna? How is he here in the body? And how are men of self-control to know you at the time of death? So I think that Arjuna here is asking Krishna is that what this is really obscure. Who is within sacrifice? I can't put a finger on this. But I think that Krishna talks about sacrifice of duty. And the Krishna in the previous chapters talked about duty, that a man has to do a man's duty, and duty is this holy thing that emancipates us. So the duty of a person is to sacrifice their ego. People, because our ego makes us, our ego is of a lower quality, is of the lower essences, is materialistic. Our ego tells us we like this, we don't like that, so we grow prejudice towards people, towards foods, towards everything, like things, anything we can say, oh, this is pleasurable, this is not, and our reactions towards the world comes from our history, and sometimes our parents teach us that, sometimes our school, sometimes we learn things in church or temples, sometimes we just think thoughts and start believing them. Everybody is different, but this thing that we are, there's something behind it. There's us, our likes, dislikes, but behind us there's a different us. It's more impersonal than personal. So I think is this is our egos are the sacrifice that Arjuna is talking about. And then he asked Krishna on, because Krishna talked about it previously. He asked him, how does a person get to know God when they die? And up here, knowledge is like a really personal knowledge. So you don't know of God, you don't think you know God, you know God as you know yourself. You know the indivisibility of you and God. You know Krishna inside your very essence. So how to come to know Krishna when you die? Because Krishna said that in the time of death, uh, you can come to know me. And this is what Lord Krishna answers. Eternal and supreme is the infinite spirit. Its inner self is called inherent being. Its creative force, known as action, is the source of creatures' existence. So, Krishna says that our spirit has no beginning and no end, and is great and is grand in power, and it is always there inside of every being. This is the driving force. It is it is what animates us. It is what it is the opposite of um, stillness and emptiness. There's emptiness and there is suchness. There's this emptiness and then there's the whole world. So this whole world is full of action. There's action in the world, but in emptiness there's non-action. So the action is who we are. It's our soul. Its inner being is perishable existence. Its inner divinity is man's spirit. I am the inner sacrifice here in your body, O best of mortals. So the 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 inner being is perishable existence. So uh, change, instability, everything is always change. Change is action. Action is change from one state to another. Change or exchange, interchange. There's always action going on, and there's always change existing in at every moment. Things change. Nothing is permanent. There's always impermanence in the physical world. So so in this change, the sacrifice that we do, we need to do in order to get to know God is sacrificing um, sacrificing just everything that we know. As we let go of the world that we know, we come deeper and deeper within. And inside of this within, we can find all that we've left behind and more. A man who dies remembering me at the time of death enters my being when he is freed from his body. Of this there is no doubt. So when somebody remembers the unity of the world and non-duality of heaven and earth. Well, heaven and earth are separate. I mean, but in the whole world is it's just one. It's just one thing. Heaven is a part of it. Earth is a part of it. Man is a part of it. So when we die, if we think about the unity, or in other words, we can say if we think about one God and that everything is just one God. And I suppose you can envision God as Jesus, for example. So if you think of God as Jesus when you die and you say that Jesus is like everything is in Jesus, we're all Jesus. We all belong to Jesus, Jesus belongs to all of us. You get to be one, you get to be with Jesus when you die. But Jesus and Krishna are the same thing, because there's no difference between gods. There's like one God is called Jesus and other God is called Krishna, and if Jesus and Krishna went to battle, I wonder who would win. Well, Jesus is Krishna, Krishna is Buddha, Buddha is your inner being. So there's no need to fight yourself. But when you think about the unity of everything when you die, Krishna says that you get to become one with everything. Whatever being he remembers, when he abandons the body at death, he enters Arjuna, always existing in that being. Here I think being means a state of being. So if somebody dies and there were angry people and they're angry when they die, then when they are born, they were born in an angry state. And that's angry is a very painful state of suffering. Sometimes people live their lives like pigs, and when they die, they still think like pigs. So after their death, they enter pigs and become pigs, because in life they've always been pigs. But if a piglet is a very good piglet, he might become a monkey, or a donkey is a very good donkey. He might become a human, and then a human is sort of like a donkey, sometimes a little stubborn, but through meditation, all our habitual patterns from our previous existences, they get burnt in the holy fire of silence and peace. And it is a holy fire. Try sitting there for half an hour or an hour or a couple hours. You can feel the fire of your irritability just consume your brain and burn and burn. It burns and it's like, I want to get up, I want to get up. And then as it gets burnt, it's like, oh, this is actually nice. I don't want to get up that much. I mean, I still want to get up, but not as much as I used to. Then eventually comes a moment when you might actually enjoy sitting, watching grass grow, having the time of your life, looking at the sky, with clouds pass you by. Oh, I could just stare at the sky for a long, long time. They got this meditation where you can just lie down on the grass. Well, it doesn't have to be a grass, but it's always nicer to lie on the grass because grass is green and it's always there, welcome you on its fluffy bosom. You lie on the grass and you look up into the sky and you imagine that your mind is the sky. Vast, vast, colorful, clear, with clouds, which are like thoughts passing you by. You can just lie and think thoughts and imagine that your mind is the sky. Well, I suppose it's better to just imagine your mind the sky, and when you're thinking thoughts, you let the thoughts pass by like clouds do. Because clouds, they always pass by in the sky. They come and they go, they come and they go, like your mind. And your thoughts come and they go, come and they go. But your mind by itself, it's clear like the sky. Therefore, at all times, remember me and fight. Mind and understanding fixed on me, free from doubt, you will come to me. So Krishna says, always think about God. And not God like the God outside of yourself, but God that is within everybody and everything. Because if you really think about it, the same force that drives us to live, that animates us, is the same force that animates animals, birds and fish and bugs. We still have this, what's called chi or prana. It's the energy that is the energy of life. It makes trees grow upwards. And the spiritual energy. But if you think about it too and believe in the invincible, then you can say that there are spirits all over us too, in the spirit world, and spirits of the land, spirits of trees, spirits of forest, of the rivers, of rocks, the spirits. And it's the same force that drives those spirits too. The same force that drives all consciousness. And if you really think about it, you can say that the world, not the world, but more like the earth is a conscious thing. It's living, it's breathing, and it's feeling. And you can say that the sun is also a living being. And with the same psychology, philosophy, you can say that our Milky Way galaxy is a being. And thus we can come to the whole entire universe is a being. And it is. But God is bigger than the whole entire universe, because there are many, many universes. Well, that's a possibility. I mean, what comes outside of universe? Emptiness. In that emptiness, there is infinity of possibility. So there is infinite number of worlds within worlds within worlds within worlds, and everything is spinning and spinning and spinning. Discipline through practice, his reason never straying, meditating, one reaches the supreme divine spirit of man. But it's not easy getting there. You gotta go and go and go and go and go to get someplace. Look at the state of the world right now. Uh, hmm. If we set up a goal to put the world in a better place, we gotta work towards it. If we just put up a goal and don't walk towards the goal, but maybe walk sideways or the opposite direction, we're not gonna get where we're going, where we want to be. So, the goal of knowing God personally is to meditate. To get there, you need to meditate. That is what's called discipline and practice. And meditate, you don't just do it kind of like, oh, I have to meditate. You sit there, but if you have a good attitude towards what you're doing, surely you'll get a little bit farther. One should remember man's spirit as the guide, the primordial poet, smaller than an atom, granter of all things, in form inconceivable, the color of the sun beyond darkness. Beautiful imagery. Beautiful, beautiful. So, here Krishna says that a man's spirit, our essence, is our guide, is our inspiration, because with our essence we touch time beyond time, the primordial time. It is our link to infinity. It is a link to the world within as well as the world without. At the time of death, with the mind immovable, armed with devotion and strength of discipline, focus your vital breaths between the brows. One attains the supreme divine spirit of men. So, here Krishna says that when you know you're about to die, when the hour of death is approaching, sit up. But if you can't, I suppose you can just lie down or stand, depending what you're doing. And think, put your mind on the spot between your eyebrows. And as you inhale, you think about it, sending energy in there. As you exhale, you think about it, sending energy in there. And when you do that, at the time of death, your mind gets liberated and you'll come to realize the essence of who you are. Essence of man, the meaning of the spirit. I shall teach you in summary about the state the scholars of sacred lore call eternal, the state ascetics enter, freed from passion, which some men seek in celibate life. So here Krishna tells Arjuna that he's gonna teach him about a state of mind which the people of knowledge call eternity, and people who leave the world can abide in for time being when they go through their trances, because this is what aesthetics are according to this book. According to Hindu aesthetics, are men, they walk around naked and they don't need much, they live on twigs and they don't eat meat, and they do a lot of yoga, open up their joints and letting the prana flow more freely in their bodies, and they meditate, and when they meditate they go into a trance in which they reach a state of mind beyond duality of here and there, of now and future. That's why it's called eternity. And I guess some of these people, they celibate, or yeah. So controlling the body's gates, keeping the mind in the heart, holding his own breath in his head, one is in disciplined concentration, invoking the infinite spirit as one eternal syllable Om, remembering me as he abandons his body, he reaches the absolute way. I'm not sure if the translation of this book is very accurate, but I don't fully understand the meaning of the phrase controlling the body's gates, because body's gates are the entrances to the body, the mouth, the ears, the nose, and the genital areas. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the eyes too, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and then there's sometimes it's called the third eye, the ninth gate. The 10th gate is between eyebrows. So, but controlling the body's gates, I mean, what does it mean? Controlling. We're controlling them. We can blink. We can. But maybe it means closing. Sometimes, I've heard, and I've read different texts where it talks about closing the body's gates. And that means closing the eyes, putting stuff on the ears, just squeezing the the S muscle, like locking all the gates out. But I'm not sure what it means here in this book, in this translation, by when it says controlling the body's gates. So it could be closing them, or it could be just with the mind aware of them. But here it says put your mind in the heart. So you have to you have to sense yourself, because who the essence of us all, like the essence of beings, is in the heart. With your mind you think, but it is the heart that actually motivates the thinking. Motivates the movement, the action. I think that our essence is in the heart. So with the mind in the heart, or with the mind of yourself, not your thinking mind, but your, not necessarily even your awareness, but your will, your energy body, your emotional body, mind and the heart, and with the mind also aware of breath. See, it says holding his own breath in his head. Um, I'm not sure what it means either. It's like, you do you hold your breath? You fill your head up with your breath and then you hold it. Then you're gonna have to exhale eventually. So, hmm. Yeah, this verse is a little obscure to me, but it just means it could mean just being mindful of the way you breathe and mindful of the way you are, of you feel, and mindful of your body, and then invoking the infinite spirit. So as you being mindful of the way you feel, and mindful of your body, and mindful of your thoughts, and if you keep this concentrated on your experience, you you think about um, the infinity of existence and unification of unity of all life, and there's a sacred syllable, Om, in Hindu and Buddhist, and it's just a Sanskrit letter, Om syllable, which means existence. All existence is said to make the sound of Om. It's the sound that the universe makes. So, you have thinking about this syllable and meaning of it. We get to, when we die, we leave our body and reach um, reach reach God, reach God consciousness. We will become one with God. We reach the final destination, the goal. We melt into eternity and don't go on farther. We're still there, but it's a different state. State beyond form and beyond formlessness as well. When he constantly remembers me, focusing his reason on me, I am easy to reach, Arjuna. For the man of enduring discipline, so when people really want to get to know God, and they're always thinking about God, and not just God, but the meaning of the word God, because God is an empty word without the meaning, and the meaning could be diverse. And here, as I understand it, the meaning is the inner unity of that everything is united from in within. So it's not God from the outside, but God inside, the essential part of who we are, or the 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 source of our spirit. Um, but if you want to get to that place, you gotta think about it and always remind yourself about it when your mind, and always reason towards it, and you have to practice, practice, practice. And if you continue practicing, no matter what obstacles arise, and um, you go around the obstacles, you break through the obstacles, you jumped over the obstacles. No matter what obstacles arise, you go beyond the obstacles, because you're always enduring in your disciplines. Reaching me, men of great spirit, do not undergo rebirth, the ephemeral realm of suffering. They attain absolute perfection. So if you always strive towards the goal, when you die, you don't get to go into one of the realms of existence. We always go because nothing is eternal that exists. Everything that is composed shall be decomposed on earth as it is in heaven. Not my words. Jesus said those. Uh, but before Jesus, Buddha said those. And before Buddha, Krishna said those. And before Krishna, um, a different Krishna said those. A different Buddha said those. A different Jesus said those. Because it doesn't really matter who says those. People who know, they say those. I I don't know much. I just read the book and talk about what I know. But I tell you one thing, I meditate, and in my meditations, I learned more than I've learned in school. And the knowledge that I received in school, it leaves me after a while. But knowledge that I obtained in meditation doesn't go away because it becomes a part of me. It's my awareness. It is who I am. And noticing my growth, and in other words, noticing my change, because we always change for the better or worse. Well, sometimes we just kind of linger, going sideways, and it's also change. It's just weird change. But it's also positive and negative because nothing is fixed. But with me noticing my change, I can honestly say that whatever is written in this book is a definite reality, and it is possible to transcend your transcend this mortality and enter into eternity. Which is perfect. Even in Brahma's cosmic realm, worlds evolve in incessant cycles. But a man who reaches me suffers no rebirth. Well, this is what I was just talking about, meaning in heavens, beings still die, and in heavens they arise and deceased. But a person that reaches the mental state of God remains in God and suffers no rebirth in heaven or hell or earth or any other states. When they know that one day of Brahma stretches over 1,000 eons, and his night ends in 1,000 eons, men understand day and night. At break of Brahma's day, all things emerge from unmanifest nature. When night falls, all sink into unmanifest darkness. Um, so here Krishna says that um, the universe, say Brahma is like universe, or a lot of times people it's easier for some Christian folk to identify Brahma with God the Father, because Brahma is like a creator. Brahma is God of creation. Um, but um, the Judeo-Christianic Islamic God, they have. I I don't know about all the hidden secret teachings, because they're hidden and secret or whatever, but what's out in the public is very, very shallow. Mm, I find incomplete, because well, God does say that I'm the Alpha and I'm the Omega, but what does it mean? Oh, it's like if you say, I give life and I give death, and I guess the God is a sustainer too. It's like in Hinduism, they developed three concepts of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva as a God, creator, God the preserver, and God the destroyer. But ultimately, they also have a one God, which with three heads of Brahma, Vishnu, and Krishna. And it's all about concepts, concepts, concepts. Because all gods, all deities are inside our heads, inside our minds. We are the ones that give them life. We are the ones that put meanings into words and concepts. So, up here, um, up here, God means the God, like everything there is. Or I don't know. It's very unthinkable in human logic, because we think in materialistically, but when it comes to something like divinity and holiness and godliness, God, it's something beyond our logic, beyond our beyond our language. Um, the eternal Tao cannot be said in words. So we here read that Brahma opens up his eyes, God the Creator wakes up, and the universe is arisen with all its beings and worlds and states and dimensions. And then, when night comes, God, Brahma, closes his eyes, and the universe stops, sinks, dies, everything dies. And then Brahma wakes up again, opens up in the morning, opens up, dies. The universe arises again. And one day, the world, one day of Brahma is equal to a thousand, over 1,000 eons. In eons is, let's just put it, a very big number, a number without, it's like infinity. If infinity is a number, eon is infinity of infinities. So 1,000 infinity of infinities is one day of Brahma's life, one day of God. And one day of God, in a day when God wakes up, universes arises. And when God goes to sleep, universe is deceased, goes defunct. And it's just one day of Brahma's infinity of infinity lives. But at the end of Brahma's life, even Brahma will die. And there'll be different Brahma. There've always been a different Brahma, as long as this 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 thing that we're in has no beginning and it doesn't have an end. And if you put a beginning to it, that's that'll be as real can get, but it'll still be false. Arjuna, the throng of creatures that comes to exist dissolves unwillingly at nightfall, to emerge again at daybreak. So here Krishna says that, yeah, people they come to life and then without their desires, without wishing to do so, they die. So people, beings are born and they die, and after they die, they get to reborn somewhere else again because after day comes night and after night comes day. Beyond this unmanifest nature is another unmanifest existence, a timeless being that does not perish when all creatures perish. So, here we're told that our lives, this ordinary life, is like this: it's day and night, day, night, day, night, day. We are born, die, reborn, die, reborn, die. That's the existence. But beyond this existence, so something like on the other side, this is the world that we live in, but beyond the boundaries of this world, there there lies a different existence, which is timeless, so time does not exist there. And the beings in that realm, in that existence, they don't die because there's no time. Because time is change. But when there is no time, there is no change. And there is no change, there is no death. And if you get to go to that place, then this is it. You're in a place of eternal peace and happiness. And it's not here, it's not there, it's it's the it's beyond this world. So it's present here, it's present right now, but it's beyond this material world. It is called eternal, unmanifest nature, what man called the highest way, the goal from which they do not return. This highest realm is mine. So this is what is not is. If something that is has some kind of a form, has this is that, but in that place there there's just an infinite possi- amount of possibility. It's unmanifest, so it's it is, but it isn't, and it's the highest of the high. It's this is beyond it. There's nothing beyond it because there's nothing there to go through, and it is the highest goal of of anything that can be achieved, and it all belongs to one God. It all belongs to Krishna, it all belongs to Buddha, it all belongs to Jesus, and it all belongs to us because Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna are inside our hearts, it is who we are. And by us, I mean all beings. It's just us people. We've got more or less adequate intelligence to understand this. Beings like raccoons, it's hard for them to understand it. They feel it sometimes more than others, some raccoons, but they don't fully have the capacity to understand this. Because animals, it's hard for them to understand certain things. But for us people, we've got enough intelligence to comprehend it. It is man's highest spirit, won by singular devotion, Arjuna, in whom creatures rest and the whole universe extends. So, this place is reachable with intent, one mind, one if you put your mind into one thought, which is a bigger than a selfish thought. So you don't really think for yourself. You devote yourself to the world. If you devote yourself to the world, you are on the right way towards God. It is it is it is it is where the universe grows into. This is how you change universe. This is how we help universe become more alive instead of becoming dead. It promotes positivity instead of negativity, of selfishness, the materialism. Arjuna, I shall tell you precisely the time when men of discipline who have died suffer rebirth or escape it. Men who know the infinite spirit reach its infinity if they die in fire, light, day, bright lunar light, the sun's 6-month northward course. Um, I don't know about this passage, but here Krishna says that he can tell you uh, when people who know how to get there when they die. And that's that's in if they get burned, if they during the day or the night or the sun's 6 months northward course. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll read on. In smoke, night, dark lunar night, in sun's 6 months southward course, a man of discipline reaches the moon's light and returns. I'll read on and see what it comes out to. These bright and dark pathways are deemed constant for the universe. By one, a man escapes rebirth. By the other, he is born again. Huh. So now he says that, I guess, even if you know how to get there, you gotta be really careful when you die. Because if you die in certain conditions, you won't be able to get get there, even though you know how to. which is kind of surprising to me, because so far has been very, um, very universal, very non-dual, and now we come to a pretty gross duality. Like when there's a bright lunar night, you can get there. When there's a dark lunar night, you cannot get there. You go through rebirth, which is I think that's bogus. I think that's bogus for Krishna to say. But hey, this is just a book. Reality, in the real deal, not you nor me, we don't know. When it happens, it'll happen. But all these are good guides. They are not the absolute guides. Because the true and eternal Tao cannot be written. And whatever it is that we're reading is a written word. So onward ho. No man of discipline is deluded when he knows these two paths. Therefore, Arjuna, be armed in all times with discipline. Knowing the fruit of virtue, assigned to knowledge of sacred lore, to sacrifices, to penances, and to acts of charity, the man of discipline transcends all this and ascends to the place of pure beginning. So, if you're good, if you don't do bad, if you help the old ladies cross the street, if you feed the birds with an extra loaf of bread that you got, if you really want to get God and come to know God and transcend this world of suffering, you can get there. You just gotta not give up. You gotta devote yourself to a higher cause, and if you're sincere, surely you should get there. I got some friends coming. Come. I got my friend Auntie stopping by. This is nice. I'm having a little substitute. I got me a substitute too. Hello.
Oleg, nice to see you on the air.
Good to see you. Good to see
Do
you.
you feel weightless when you're on the air?
Sometimes I forget that I exist when I'm on the air.
Excellent. That's that focus. That's the mind without a mind. You're achieving no mind just by forgetting that you're on the air.
Could you have a seat and help me out for a little bit?
Well, I don't know if I can because I'm in kind of a hurry. What do you need, pal? How can I help you?
Okay, this is my show is live.
It's live, so we're on the air right now.
Right.
It's a good thing you
And-
plan these things out. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't plan nothing out. I like to be. That's why I got me some tea, but I'd like to get a refill.
Oh, I see.
So I wanna run down to Phil Cafe
Yeah.
and get a refill, but I don't wanna. It has to be
Yeah,
stale.
you can't do that. So I'll just ramble for a while.
Yeah, can you ramble for a while?
Oh yeah, man.
Cool.
What were you talking about? I can jam on it a little bit.
I was just talking about nothing.
And about
how
nothing.
nothing used to more nothing.
Okay. Okay. Nothing. Nothing is a fullness in itself. You got to think about it, people. It's a fullness because if you had nothing, it's like this. Think about the absence of the zero. We all learned somewhere maybe that the Arabs gave us the zero, and their numerical system. Well, if you didn't have a zero, what would your numerical life be like? I mean, all these, a series of like the scratch marks, the 4 vertical with 1 diagonal. I mean, it's the same kind of thing if you think about it. Without the nothing, you would have no substance. In much the same way that light and dark have that codependency, that intermingling. Well, even if I'm distracted at the moment by whatever it is my daughter is waving at me,
Yeah, Anna Cloudy's on the air today too, kind of peripherally. So if this gets taped in the archive, you might be able to censor vibration over here. So yeah, nothing. Nothing is a deep, 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 deep subject. And one of the best ways to investigate, I think, is by looking at its inverse, which is not something, but actually it's infinity. And again, it's a numerical thing, and great backstory on it. Infinity was denied by, in the European world by in that Eurocentric gallery by the German School of Mathematicians at Leipzig. This would have been 1700s, Age of Enlightenment kind of stuff. And these guys, they kind of needed a finite universe so that their maps of reality, their mathematical models, their topographical mathematical models would jive, they would be consistent, that they could feel confident were true in some sense. Well, along comes Georg Cantor, and first of all, he's a Jew. This doesn't help him very much with these Germans. And secondly, he's got these strange equations that are the all the professors in Leipzig, they can't seem to cancel out his equations, and these were let's see if I can recall what Cantor's infinity equations were called. I'm gonna have to research that and get back to Oleg. Fascinating paper on it, written ironically enough by a math professor at Oxford, who is also a minister of some sort. And in it, he argues that not only was Cantor's math correct, but the presupposition that we live in a contingent universe. Contingent meaning that things follow from it, and that there's a possibility of change. Now, if we can flip over to the world of physics for a minute, contemporary physics, it was maybe 7-8 years ago that Lee Smolin, kind of a rock star physicist, young meteoric rising kind of sensation in that world, he proposed the idea that, if you see evidence of evolution all around us and in all kinds of different areas and in all different sorts of scales of magnitude, from life to inert, geological formations. Well, he said if the only thing that remains constant is change, and that a story of evolution is the backstory on everything, well, that means that the laws of the physical world, these things that we call, the laws of physics, are themselves contingent and may themselves have changed and continue to change over time, which freaks a lot of people out, in the physics world and elsewhere, because it makes things less definite, less defined, and it opens the stage for a sort of constant mutation. So on that note, Oleg is back, and I've interwoven your nothingness with my infinity, and they're chatting right now. They're deciding whether or not to get along. So I was talking a little bit, I diverged into the mathematical world, Georg Cantor's equations that kind of it made the professors in Leipzig who were controlling the mathematical world, these old krauts, made them very nervous. He was a radical Jew, and you know how they treat radical Jews in this point in time, right? Or any Jews for this matter,
Oy vey.
All right. All right, fellas, it's been great talking about nothing, and I'll be back doing it soon because it's what I do all day long. Oleg, my man.
Hey.
Awesome to see you, my brother. Awesome to see you. And keep on.
I'll give you a call. You still got the same number?
Yeah, I hope this is archived. It's tight.
Yeah.
It's really tight.
If you give me your email,
Yeah.
I can send you a link
Excellent.
to this
Excellent,
thing.
my man.
Right now.
Okay.
Don't go away. Right down.
Okay, man.
And you just flip. People, I read this fortune cookie the other night. Friends are like, or how does it go? friends are like being on a bus. Meeting friends are like being on a bus. People just get on and get off. That's how life goes. We're always stuck inside our little spaceship called our mind, and into our little personal reality. Beings manifest and unmanifest, manifest and unmanifest, but the consciousness still goes on, and sometimes it changes into unconsciousness, and life it keeps on moving. It does never hold still, and yet at this moving life, there is the other side of life, which is without movement, is without being. It is the realm of Krishna, or the realm of Buddha, or the realm of Jesus, or it's the other side. And as we all know, it's always greener on the other side. And that's the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, I just want to go home. Take me down to the paradise city. Where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. I want you, just please take me home. Um, that's me doing my cheap imitation of throat singing. Still working on it, but recently I went on open mic and I I did it in front of an audience, and surprisingly enough, people liked it, and I was I was honored. So Yeah. I want as a human didgeridoo. So people come and people go, and our book is not finished yet, so it must go. It must go a little farther into the ninth teaching called the Sublime Mystery. Mystery because it is unknown to our ordinary mind, and sublime, well, because it's happy and it's pleasurable and it's very, very high, like the most high. It's pure and unstained. And very, very joyous. If there's such a thing as joy in a non dual world. Because it is non dual, the mystery. Lord Krishna says, I will teach the deepest mystery to you since you find no fault. Realizing it with knowledge and judgment, you will be free from misfortune. The science and mystery of kings is a supreme purifier, intuitive, true to duty, joyous to perform, unchanging. So here he says that he's gonna teach. Well, he's been saying the same thing throughout the book, that he's gonna teach this thing, and he's been teaching. It's quite repetitive though, but there's a little bit of subtle differences between all his teachings, 'cause they're all, to me, well, they come from the same source and they are of the same source and they are about the same source, but the same source is infinite in itself. So he says that once you come to understand certain things, so once you come to get to know certain realities, and you acquire a good sense of what is and what isn't, so you develop a good judgment, a good sense of defining right from wrong action. This ability will get you away from bad things happening to you. You know, like if you know you're going into a den of thieves, you don't take your wallet with you. This way you don't get nothing gets stolen, because you already know. Or you don't go there at all if you know that someone invited you were into a den of thieves. You decline the invitation. You say thanks, but I'd rather not go. You got you got enough knowledge and a good sense of judgment. So this knowledge is the knowledge that Krishna teaches. Is a happy thing. It gives people joy and pleasure, and it purifies creatures from their defilements, like anger is our defilement, and jealousy, which just also leads to anger, and desire, which also can lead to anger, and there's also fears, you know. Oh, I'm afraid to go to I'm to piano school, to conservatory, because my dad expects me to be a lawyer, and I want to be a musician. You can go and become a lawyer and always dream about playing music and never be happy. But you can also be a musician, be quite a happy musician, but always broke. Ah, this world. Who knows what you gotta do? Only you, only you. Thus, in the previous chapter, we have a verse that says that your spirit gotta be your guide because no one else can guide you but your higher consciousness, your higher spirit, because you within yourself know already what is it that you're supposed to do and what is it that you're doing and what you're doing wrong. And even though you know this stuff, we still go on based on our habitual patterns. And when you meditate, that's when you break free from all that binds you to this world of the past. Because right now it's not the past, right now it's flowing, it's moving, it's changing. So to be one, you have to become change. You have to get in with the speed. And the speed is fast because our world is spinning at certain number of miles a second, and the world is spinning around the sun in certain miles per second, and the sun is spinning around its own axis, and that galaxy is spinning around another axis. There's a lot of there's a lot of speed going on here, and we're just these particles moving in incredible speed, and we're not even here. Without faith in sacred duty, man failed to reach me, Arjuna. They return to the cycle of death and rebirth. The whole universe is pervaded by my unmanifest form. All creatures exist in me, but I do not exist in them. Men who lack faith in the transcendental wisdom and the wisdom of non duality never get to know truth, never get to know God. They always go in circles like a squirrel in a cage. The whole world is only a manifested reality of the unmanifest God. And everything exists in this vast emptiness. But the emptiness does not exist anywhere. Behold the power of my discipline. These creatures are really not in me. Myself quickens creatures, sustaining them without being in them. Just as the wide moving wind is constantly present in space, so all creatures exist in me. Understand it to be so. Interesting. For before he says that everything is in him, but now he says that in reality everything is not in him. So before he says everything is God, and then he says everything is not really in God. He says God moves creatures forward. God elevates creatures. Because this God is not a being. This God is total, vast, limitless emptiness in which everything uh, arises and falls, arises and falls. This in this vastness space, everything is. As as an eon ends, all creatures fold into my nature, Arjuna, and I create them again as new eon begins. So as the universe comes to an end, everybody, all creatures, end up in the space beyond duality. They all beings end up one end up to be one with God. All creatures return to where they come from. And then after the universe ends, a new universe begins. And all those creatures that came to the source go out into the world again. Gathering in my own nature again and again, I freely create this whole throng of creatures, helpless in the force of helpless in the force of my nature. Gathering in my own nature, again and again, I freely create this whole throng of creatures, helpless in the force of my nature. So, as God comes to know God, God creates bunch of emanations, different colors of a rainbow, different there's billions, gillions, jillions, different variations of creatures, and they're just a part of nature, so they're part of God. So so everything is God and everything is moving perfect in time as it should. These actions do not bind me, since I remain detached in all my actions, Arjuna, as if I stood apart from them. But God Himself, uh, or God is actually without polarity, so in one God in oneself, they whatever happens doesn't really change God. God is very detached. God is just is. God is like karma. Karma is impersonal. But of course, karma is a personal thing because it's your karma that you're manifesting right now. But God is kind of like a watcher. Holy moly, do you see my good old friend Muscle? Muscle? No, not Muscle. Ah, my eyes are playing tricks on me. So, nature, with me as her inner eye, bears animate and inanimate beings, and by reason of this, Arjuna, the universe continues to turn. So, here in the universe, we have such thing as nature, evolution, the way of things. And the nature's guiding force is God. So here we kind of say that the reason for evolution is because life moves on forward, and life moves on forward is because God is present in life. That's why we have evolution, and God is present in life. God is manifested as action, in all action, and that's because God is total vast emptiness. This is full of polarities, but that's the way the world is, apparently. Deluded man despise me in the human form I have assumed, ignorant of my higher existence as a great lord of creatures. So some men, some folk, they they don't like other men. They don't like humanity. They think that life is not good, and they always are against life, against the nature, against our impulses. They are the ones they say, don't do this, don't do that, you cannot think, you just must obey and just wish you were dead. But life itself, the inquisitiveness of man, the, the, the drive to live and procreate, that is the higher nature, that is God. And some men, I guess, don't like that. Reason warped, hope, action, and knowledge wasted. They fall prey to seductive, fiendish, demonic nature. Yeah, that's what's happening. A lot of people in power nowadays. Their reason it gets distorted. They start believing certain thoughts that have little to do with truth of life. They got all kinds of crazy ideas and hopes for, and they do things that don't produce anything helpful to the world, and whatever knowledge that they possess, they don't use it, they just waste it, and thus they become into really creatures like Gollum. They have a lot of desire, and they sort of demonic. This was hey, if you want to analyze how demonic is a president of the United States, look at all of them. Don't just look at one of them. Uh, People really lose their humanity when they have a lot of power, it seems, which is unfortunate. In single minded dedication, great souls devote themselves to my divine nature, knowing me as unchanging, the origin of creatures. So when a person gets to get a very tame mind is like when you wish to think about, you think about. For example, if I tell you to not to think about a white monkey, what you gonna think about? Don't think about a white monkey for a minute. Yeah. So our minds, they like to do whatever they like to do. But it is possible to get a hold of this wild horse of a mind and turn it into a nice, good horsey that listens to you and moves when you want it to move and stays when you want it to stay. Um, so when you get this good mind, you put one thought on God, and you think of God as as this vastness from which everything comes from. So you look at this non-dual vastness as the mother of all. And if you do that, you become great. You glorify yourself. So always so always glorifying me, striving firm in their vows, paying me homage with devotion, they worship me always disciplined. Sacrificing through knowledge, others worship my universal presence in its unity and its many different aspects. So, there are many ways of worshiping God. There are many ways of getting to know yourself, the essence of self, beyond the self, beyond the beyond of the self. Not even collective self, but beyond that, the self of selves. Heart of hearts, beyond the heart into the heart of emptiness. What is that? How can emptiness have a heart? Union of emptiness and compassion. That's what enlightenment is. Emptiness is the reality. Compassion is the way to ultimate. Because one is all. All is part of who we are. So it is a good idea to be very empathetic towards people and acknowledge their pain and wish them happiness. May all beings be happy. May all beings not suffer. Om Mani Padme Hum Hari. I am the right, the sacrifice, the liberation for the dead, the healing herb, the sacred hymn, the clarified butter, the fire, the oblation. I am the universal Father, Mother, granter of all, grandfather, object of knowledge, purifier, holy syllable Om, threefold sacred lore. I am the way, sustainer, Lord, witness, shelter, refuge, friend, source, dissolution, stability, treasure, and unchanging seed. I am the heat that withholds and sends down the rains. I am immortality and death. Both being and non-being, I am I. Well, here Krishna basically says that whatever you can think of, that's Krishna. You know? If you think about death, that's Krishna. Think about life, that's Krishna. Think about immortality, that's also Krishna. Krishna is the source of all and the source where everybody and the place where everything goes to. Krishna is not here and not there, and Krishna is in both places and neither places. Whatever you can think of, Krishna is that. But Krishna is not what Krishna is not. And that's our ego. Well, maybe our ego is Krishna too. Krishna being everything, everything, everything. You cannot negate the ego from everything. You cannot negate it. But a path, a path to God cannot be through ego. We cannot get to God by glorifying ourselves, by thinking of ourselves as as who we are. Because even though we are who we are, we're also not who we are. With our souls constantly moving and our essences being God, if we think about us as ourselves, just ourselves, we're limiting our experience to a very, very narrow existence. Thus, the path to God is not the path of ego. The path to God is by opening one's ego into the universal existence, opening oneself to the universe, acknowledging people, acknowledging reality, acknowledging truth, being wide awake, being inquisitive, being stable and unstable, wanting and not wanting. You gotta be like Krishna to know Krishna. You can only know Krishna by becoming Krishna. There's no other way. Who can know you better than you? But because God is within ourselves, by becoming God-like, we come to know God. And God, look around you. This is God. A matter how can one describe in words this life? It's so big. It's much bigger than anything that can be said. It's bigger than anything that could be thought of. It's just bigger. It's as big as imagination can get. And maybe even bigger than that. Because in our imagination, we can only imagine what we know of. But there's so much that we don't know. But in coming to get to know the essence of who we are, by looking within oneself and seeing one's experiences and the experiencer and the watcher of the experiencer and the non-dual experience, so much of experience that can be there that we just don't see because we don't look there. Krishna says, look at me. I am the world. I am your consciousness. Man learned in sacred lore, soma drinkers, their sins absolved, worship me with sacrifices, seeking to win heaven, reaching the holy world of Indra, king of the gods. They savor the heavenly delights of the gods and the celestial sphere. When they have long enjoyed the world of heaven, and their merit is exhausted, they enter the mortal world, following the duties obtained in sacred lore, desiring desires, they obtain what is transient. So, certain men they do their duty, uh, and they drink. Well, they say this. They smoke. So they drink some really good bang. It's some. They drink soma. Soma is like this elixir that's really. It's kind of like ayahuasca or peyote, but up here it's like the elixir of the gods. I think up here was it meant, or elixir of immortality. But people who know how to do their thing, they do the right thing they're supposed to do, and their sins they melt away, and they have a whole bunch of merit because they're doing good. They get to go to heaven and hang out in heaven for a long time. But then their good deeds, the merit that they got from their good deeds, it gets depleted, and they just fall back to the world. And depends on how much merit they got. That's where they go. Men who worship me, thinking solely of me, always disciplined, win the reward I secure. When devoted men sacrifice to other deities with faith, they sacrifice to me, Arjuna, however aberrant the rites. So he's kind of talking that men who are thinking about God, who working towards God, who dedicate their life towards God, they get the reward that God has for them. And when men devote themselves to aspects of God, not to God as one, or unity of everything, non-duality, but to sort of like, oh, God, part of God is happiness, and goodness. Let's just worship this goodness, and they say prayers to goodness, and they say, "Oh, goodness, here are prayers. Come to us." It doesn't really matter to God because God accepts all, and when people are praying towards certain aspect of God, it doesn't matter to God. God hears their prayers regardless. I am the enjoyer and Lord of all sacrifices. They do not know me in reality, so they fail. So he says that whatever people do, whatever people pray to, and it includes black magic too. Like if somebody says, "Dear hell," and have hellish beings, Satan, like they got Satanism and they got demonology and all that stuff. To God is like it's all aspects of me. Whatever you think of is an aspect of me, and now I'll give you whatever you ask for. If you do your duty and you do your sacrifices, whether it's words, your spirit, material things. He's the Lord of sacrifice. God is. But people they keep sacrificing for different favors, but they don't really care about knowing God. Votaries of the gods go to the gods. Ancestor worshippers go to the ancestors. Those who appropriate ghosts go to them, and my worshippers go to me. So he says, well, yeah, people are different. People like different things. Some people like, let's say, Christianity, they worship Jesus. Some people like Islam, they worship Muhammad. No, well, that's a lie. People don't worship Muhammad. I'm not exactly sure what Muslims do. and how they see Muhammad. But they're really picky towards Muhammad. They're so picky towards Muhammad. Uh, he made, actually it was Muhammad wish not to be painted. So every time people, there's a drawing of Muhammad. Uh, Muhammad has like a white face. There's no face. But the funny thing is that Muhammad, he suffered from this disease called gigantism. It's when certain parts of his face and body, they grew in size. He was, yeah, he wasn't the pretty fella. Maybe he wasn't his youth, but by the time he was middle aged and older, he was like a monster looking. Yeah. I hope, you know, this the way thing is. But yeah, so everybody worships who they wanna worship, and people who worship God, real God, they worship real God. The leaf or flower or fruit or water that he offers with devotion, I take from the man of self restraint in response to his devotion. So, whatever a person offers to God, God takes. But the person has to offer it with a good heart, with a clear heart, with a good vision too. Whatever you do, what you take, what you offer, what you give, what penances you perform, do as an offering to me, Arjuna. So, here he says, whatever it is you do, think that you're doing it for God. Because if God is existence, everything you do is is for God to be as God is. Here he says, be aware of what you're doing and see how your actions affect reality. And this will get you closer to knowledge of 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 God within and without. You will be freed from the bonds of action, from the fruits of fortune and misfortune, armed with the discipline of renunciation, you're self-liberated, you will join me. So, after a while, of performing this duty of being mindful of being part of the world with your mind, you won't, it won't matter to you whether your actions give you good results or bad results. You will not be concerned for the materialistic world because your soul will soar through the form realm of this realm of desire in which we live in, because we live in a realm of desire. We always desire things, and we can transcend this desire of good and desire to stay away from bad. Just transcend desire into this peaceful, joyous state of mind which is free from desire, which is liberated from bonds of karma. We get into the immortal state of non-duality with God. being one with God. I am impartial to all creatures, and no one is hateful or dear to me. But men devoted to me are in me, and I am within them. So here Krishna says that God, it doesn't matter to God. You don't matter. God doesn't see a difference between you and somebody else, and between you and somebody else and another creature, or a tree, or a ghost, or whatever, a heavenly being. To God, everybody is equal, and no one is hateful. God loves everybody and everything. But people, beings who are devoted to God, devoted to this unity of us, devoted to harmony, devoted to peace, devoted to transcendence, devoted into becoming one with the world. They are the God dwells in them. They are a vehicle. They become a vehicle for God's energy to reside in. A holy energy, the energy of life, the energy of nature. If he is devoted solely to me, even a violent criminal must be deemed a man of virtue, for his resolve is right. His spirit quickens
Welcome
to
to
sacred
Sides of
duty,
Thoughts,
and he
Conversations
finds
with the Alliance of
eternal
History graduate
peace.
students. My name
Arjuna,
is Jacob Glicklick. I'm the
know
producer of the
that
show.
no
The
one
things you will hear
devoted
over
to
the
me
next hour
is
represent
lost.
the views of Sides of Thoughts and people
So,
making them. All opinions and quotations
here
in no
he
way
says
represent
that
River West
no
Radio
matter what you've
and are
done,
the sole responsibility
even
of the
if you've
producer,
done
guests,
some
and callers.
horrible things,
River West Radio is not
if
liable
you
for any legal
renounce,
issues arising from the content of this program. Oh, thanks
you
for tuning
renounce
in and joining us for this
your
week. We're
past
going to be
deeds,
discussing aspects of
you renounce
renewed
your
historical
selfishness,
presentation. The
you renounce
questions
your
that people ask of the past, the questions they ask of
egoism,
historians, questions they ask
and
of
you let
historians
go of your ways,
that work with history beyond the
and you
usual
dedicate
bounds
your
of
life
academia and
into
teaching. So joining me
being
for
a
this
peaceful
week's
person
discussion is
and
returning
finding
guest Randy
peace
Miller.
within yourself
Thanks for coming.
and
And
unity
first-time
of
guest
life.
Stephen Daly.
Hi,
If you
thanks for
started
having me.
seeing
Thanks
yourself
for being
in
here.
other creatures,
So, part of the way that I want
then
to launch
all
off
your
this
sins
discussion is talking with you, in terms of
will be
Steve, about
forgiven.
the work that you do, in terms of particularly with the Milwaukee Historical
And
Society, and just
because
just
God
outlining sort of the society as a whole,
loves
and then also just
everybody.
own experience
And
with
if
it over the
someone
last 20 years.
goes
and
back
just
into
if
the
there's
ways of
things that I've
goodness,
noticed about the kind of
goodness
topics that people are
welcomes
interested in, and the things
this
that you are
person
and aren't able to provide for them.
as his,
Okay.
as
Well,
a
I guess
father
first I
or
can
mother,
start to give you a little background
welcome
on
a
the
son or
history of
daughter
the Milwaukee
that
County
they
Historical
haven't
Society.
seen
It
in a
was
long time.
founded in 1935 by 4 concerned citizens of Milwaukee who felt that
If
it
they
was horrible
rely
that
on
a
me,
city the
Arjuna,
size of Milwaukee
women,
didn't
commoners,
have its own historical
men of
society
low
by
rank,
1935.
even men
They
born
visited
in the
other
womb
cities
of
that had
evil,
historical societies that
reached
were in
its
operation
highest
for a
way.
lot longer and couldn't understand
So,
why we didn't
again,
have
he
one here,
says
so
that
they incorporated and
matter
formed a
who you are.
nonprofit organization, and
Anybody
it's because of those 4 people that
can
Milwaukee has what it has
get
today in the
to
form
a
of
higher
collections
state
and
of existence.
artifacts and
If
mementos
they
of the past.
try
So that, like I said, that was the foundation.
put right
It's a
effort.
small organization, and much like a lot of nonprofits today, money is always an
Don't
issue.
stray.
It always will be an issue
they can get
because we're funded by what we can
It is,
raise, what people
how
donate,
easy it
bequests,
is
donations, things
then
like
for
that.
holy
So,
priests
it's a struggle
and
all
devoted
the time to
royal
make
sages
ends meet, so to speak. But
in this
luckily, we've always had people
transient
that have been
world of
interested
sorrow.
enough in Milwaukee history to
Devote yourself
leave
to
us
me.
money or donate money
So
on a
here he
regular
says,
basis
oh
so
yeah,
that we have the
it's
funds
easy
to
for the
continue.
priests who don't do nothing but
Basically,
service,
the foundation, if
and
you will, of
it's
the
easier
collections
for
that the society started
the men
from
who
this
leave
early
the world
beginnings.
and go and travel
There used to be an old group in Milwaukee called the Old Settlers
go
Club,
of the
and as their
desires
members
of
died
ordinary
off
life.
and the membership got older and older, they
Yeah, he
recognized the
says,
need to pass on
y-
these
a-
things that
anybody
they've been
can do
collecting
it.
ever since Milwaukee had been founded.
Give me in your mind and
These
devotion,
things go back to the 1830s, the very
sacrifice
beginnings of
to me,
Milwaukee, and,
bow to me,
they started
discipline
collecting this
yourself
material,
towards
and,
me,
when they knew
and
that
you
they
will
couldn't
reach
hang on to it anymore, they donated it to these four individuals
So
that
here
created
Krishna
the
says
Historical
that
Society. So that's kind of the foundation of our
respect
collections.
life,
And it's great materials that ranges
Love
everything
nature.
from dance cards
see
to,
yourself as a
ballroom
part
programs,
of this
menus,
one
flyers,
global community.
flags,
See
uniforms,
yourself
things like
not
that
as
they've
yourself,
collected
but
over the years,
as a part of
that this
the
Old Settlers
world.
Club had collected. And then more
See,
recently,
look at
in
the
the
big
1960s,
picture.
we
Don't
became
concentrate
the official
on the small
repository
picture.
for Milwaukee
And
County
if you do
records.
it,
So every time Milwaukee County doesn't
you
want
will
to store
get to a
something
place
anymore,
of
they give
peace
us a
and
call
love
and say, would you
and
like to take
unity.
5,000 boxes of divorce records? And usually
On
we
this
do, because
words,
a big part of our
I
clientele, our customer
chill,
base, if you will,
I am
is
saying
genealogists,
goodbye.
people doing family history, local
I love
history,
you
that type
all,
of thing. So those are the kind of records that
and
people are
I'll see you
interested in.
next week on
I
Chill
mean,
Chill
we have,
and Friends.
virtually anything you can think of,
Have a
everything
beautiful,
from city directories
beautiful
to
week.
maps to divorce records,
And
coroner's inquests, probate
enjoy
files,
the
personal
time when you
manuscript
lay to
collections,
rest.
photographs. We have probably one
Goodbye.
of the finest photo collections anywhere.